Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, December 7th, 2022, and it is dreary. It's going to be about 50 degrees today. On one hand, I'll take it, but on the other hand, I'm like 50 degrees in December. Climate change is real. We are here today for We Need to Know Wednesdays. I'm not going to go in immediately and do my greetings this morning as we have a guest. Some of you may have heard that the mayor's office launched an initiative yesterday, and I really like it. This is something that reminds me of what we tried to do some years ago called the Citizens Campaign, to where we tried to get citizens to be more civically engaged and mobilized around not just Election Day, which is a part of it, but also, and speaking of Election Day, I think I can say this with having a city person on air, because the mayor did support this, but Senator Warnock won last night, but I'll get to that after, we talk about civic engagement. But that is an example of what happens when you get involved. And so we're getting ready to bring Director Henry Santana into the Java Cafe for the first time. But before we do that, I need you all to do me a favor, because this is a topic that is very special to me. We talk about civic engagement. We've had the elected officials and election night watches and things like that here. And it is important that we stay engaged in this process. And so this initiative, from my observation, goes beyond Election Day and goes beyond some of the regular sort of entry-level things, if you will, around being civically involved. So hit that share button real quick so we can bring our guest in. I might do that thing where I'm not going to start until we get 50 people in the room. We may not start this morning. No, I'm just messing, but we're getting ready to bring in our guest, a young man that I'll go ahead and bring him on screen now and do the apology, because some months ago, I seen him in City Hall and I was like, hey, I heard about your position and appointment. I want to get you on the show. And it didn't happen in the preferred time frame that we both would like. But Henry, welcome, brother. Good to see you in the Java Cafe this morning. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, Jimmy. Thank you so much. Just really happy to be here. And excited. It's been a long time coming.
Absolutely. But see, that was just a little bit of low-key shade. No, I'm messing. But no, Henry, tell us a little bit about your position first, and then we'll go into some of your background to understand why the mayor appointed you to that. And we'll shout out all the other chiefs and everyone that, in the cabinet works together shortly. But tell us about your position and why it's part of the civic engagement cabinet.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the community engagement cabinet. So yeah, the old cabinet used to be civic engagement, and under the administration, we changed our cabinet's name to community engagement to have that focus on community. Mayor Wu opened this office of civic organizing to continue doing that work.
So are you the first director?
First director of this office. It's a brand new office out of the Mayor Wu administration. So that's obviously an honor, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity. But yeah, just to go a little bit into the office. I started having early conversations with Chief Malore, who's the chief of community engagement, and with Mayor Wu about this office. They were going to open this office and what it will mean. And I think historically, I think our community engagement cabinet really, like, because of constituent services, we're always reacting, right? Like whatever is happening today, we need to help that constituent day to day. And the Office of Neighborhood Services obviously does that at a high level. And I think our office, the Office of Civic Organizing, really tries to focus on proactive engagement, right? And proactive thinking. So how do we, build civic leaders within communities? How do we educate communities about neighborhood power? And how do we bring people from different backgrounds who have traditionally not been at the table, who have not been plugged into to the administration or former administrations, and how do we get those people part of our administration and feel heard? So I think that's where our office comes in. We really focus on trying to be proactive, and I think this is this initiative, the Civic Power Pledge, is one of many initiatives that does that.
Absolutely. We're going to get into the actual initiative in a couple of seconds. But Henry, tell us about yourself. Like, where are you from here in Boston? Tell us about a little bit about your career, because I think it's important. This won't be your first time here, as this is an area that is very special to me. And so when people first come into the Java Cafe, I'd like to, just introduce you to the audience. So tell us a little bit about yourself. And this is just act like this is just you and I talking on the trolley tour, getting to know one another. It's definitely a welcoming family. I can guarantee if I go into the comments, there's a couple in here. Welcome, Henry. Thank you for coming. Blah, blah, blah. But go ahead, sir. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, even right before that, I just want to say, I forgot to mention it right off the top. Like, it's really an honor, and I've been a long time fan of yours, for a long time, and active listener. So really, really proud of the work that you're doing and educating and really bringing in people. So, but yeah, I mean, a little bit about myself. I was actually born in the Dominican Republic. My family's from the Dominican Republic, but really came here at a young age. I came here around the age of 3. Grew up in Roxbury, in Mission Hill.
Okay.
And my family's still there to this day. I grew up here with my mom, my dad, 2 older brothers and 1 younger sister. And because we were from the Dominican Republic, we were very close knit.
Mm-hmm.
Really, we were all we had. So we really, my parents did a really good job at instilling, togetherness, but also enforcing, we came to this country for education and an opportunity. So that was really instilled at a very, very young age. Like many immigrant families, right? The parents sacrifice their lives for their children. And I was very fortunate about that. So I grew up in Mission Hill. Love Mission Hill. You will always see me rooting for Mission Hill. And hopefully, sometime soon we'll be moving back to Mission Hill. Grew up here through the BPS system.
Okay.
Up until middle school. I went to the Blackstone School for elementary school out there in South End, and then I ended up going to the Dearborn as well as the Tobin School for middle school. And from there, I actually ended up. I think at that age, I started getting connected to local politicians. One of my long-term mentors at the time was Jeffrey Sanchez, who's still
state rep, yeah,
the former state rep, for about 15 years. And he's always been from like 7th and 8th grade. He's always been in my ear, supporting me and guiding me. At that time, I did feel though that I wasn't challenged as much in school.
Mm-hmm.
And I started actually. There was a show on Zoe 101. So I don't know if
Zoe 101. I'm familiar.
Yeah, and I saw wow, this boarding school and this education, but you get to hang out with friends and it's like college or high school. I ended up going to boarding school for high school, and went up to Maine, Friary Academy, spent my 4 years there. Absolutely, I mean, very different from Boston, right? But
a lot of lobster.
a lot of lobster, yeah. So it was very, very different, but I think I definitely going there and seeing the education that was provided to me, getting to know people from around the world, and then coming back in the summers to Mission Hill and working in the community. I used to work in the Mission Hill Summer Program. I think that balance of like having that work in the summer, but then going back to to the very privileged place,
Mhm.
and, really set my framework for like this is not fair. Like, why can't I get what I'm getting here in Maine back in Roxbury, back in Michigan? Why am I not getting it? So that really, I think, set the groundwork for my passion. I'm really passionate about youth. I'm really passionate about mentorship, and really passionate about education.
Awesome, man. Why, let me ask you, why is civic engagement important to you? You gave some of the historical context, and thank you for opening and sharing with us sort of your journey. But why is civic engagement important to you? Why did you, take this appointment or job? Why? What's your why in reference to what you're doing now?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, it definitely has to do with what with some of the stuff I told you. Came to this country. My family came to this country, not knowing English, right? Like we grew up speaking Spanish, and it was really, people like I said, former state rep Jeffrey Sanchez, former city councilor Mike Ross,
Okay.
um, former city councilor Tito Jackson, people like that who I just like they came to my school or I saw them in an event, and to see them taking the time to like get to know me, to write back to me when I reached back out, invited me to different events. Like I was like, wow, like especially with former state rep Jeffrey Sanchez. He was a Latino man, right? And I was like, I can see myself in that role. I saw Tito Jackson, a black man here in the city of Boston. So like I was like, that's a pathway for me. And I started connecting. I started just reaching out via email, writing letters, taking tours to City Hall. And they were engaging me and teaching me. And honestly, Jimmy, that changed it for me. Like that really opened my eyes to something that I didn't know was really possible for me. Didn't know it was possible for someone who came from the Dominican Republic, to really be in these spaces. And I think when this opportunity came, with civic engagement and civic organizing,
Mhm.
it's something that I've always done. Is I've taken what people have done to me and try to instill it in what I do today. I try to go talk to as many young people as possible. Try to show them a pathway that they might have not known was there. And when you're doing that, right, when you're doing it, you're building community. You're getting to know people. You're bringing people together. And I think this office, really does that. So, yeah.
I was very intentional there for folks to see and understand your why, because in this type of, and a part of civic engagement is authenticity, and sometimes understanding that folks are, before they get to know you, they're sitting back like, okay, let me see, what's up with him. And so thank you for being so transparent. So what happened yesterday? What happened yesterday? I'm sitting here looking at the webpage and I'm like, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's to be very honest and not in a disparaging or anything manner. This isn't anything new. It's just organized and being put together by the city. And so I'm looking at a lot of the tenets of and let's just go ahead and
Yeah.
share the page real quick. I think I have this set up right here. Okay, there we go. So what happened yesterday? Tell us what happened yesterday and why you're here today.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, yesterday was a big day for the Office of Civic Organizing. We've been around since February. Well, we launched in March. So, a few months in, and this is our, we really try to focus on getting the old initiatives that the office inherited, up and running, and rebranded into, to our administration. But yesterday was an exciting day, like you mentioned, because we launched our first new initiative, the Civic Power Pledge. And to your point, it's nothing new. I've always said it from the day that I was appointed to this position. I'm not trying to recreate any work that's being done. I'm trying to just uplift it, right? So I've talked to many community organizations. I've talked to Main Streets, to small businesses, to residents, about this and how we can be intentional about this pledge. So, and this is what came out. So the Civic Power Pledge, it's a, very simple, attainable checklist, one tailored to residents, one tailored to small businesses to start. We're hoping that,
So this isn't, I noticed that this isn't just about individuals. There's a focus here with small businesses as well.
Yeah, I mean, small businesses, local businesses are part of the community. If you're from a neighborhood, I'm from Mission Hill, right? Like I said, I go to those small businesses, and they're just as important, as everyone there, and you feel, that they do so much. They do so much to, to stay connected. And I think, tailoring the Civic Power Pledge, and bringing them in, this is all good. But one is tailored, like I said, to residents.
Mhm.
One is tailored to small businesses, and we're hoping, as we're growing this pledge, that we can bring other groups in as well.
Absolutely. What is the, like, in your wildest dreams, what is the outcome of the Civic? Taking the Civic Power Pledge is good. And, we've taken pledges, we've raised our hand, and I'm gonna da, 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 da. What is your ultimate outcome as the director of this office? This is your baby. What is your ultimate goal with this?
Yeah. So, like, I think when people think of, civic organizing and civic engagement, right? I think the obvious things that come to mind is, voting, and then, jury duty and stuff like that. And people, okay, that's
Hold on. That's that. Okay. Yeah, that is part of civic involvement.
Yeah. I mean, whether you do it, yeah. So, and people, that's your civic duty for the year. And I think, what this pledge really tries to focus on is that, although those two things are very important, right, there's a lot more to it. And even if you don't have the right to vote, there's a lot of things that you can still be doing in your community to be civically engaged. And then, going back to really neighborhood power, right? Like, how do you mobilize people in your neighborhood, to come together and agree or disagree on different items, but then present it as a neighborhood, to either your local official, to your city council, to your state rep, to your mayors, and how much that actually means. And I think you see that in different neighborhoods, right? I think you can see different neighborhoods. People can say, "Oh, they get whatever they want," or they get whatever they want. And when you really start going into it, right, and this is the organization within that neighborhood, how they meet, how they may disagree at the beginning, but there's sacrifices that are made because they want to be able to represent their whole neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important. And I think I really want to bring that mindset, to all neighborhoods, especially underrepresented neighborhoods. So I think this pledge, I think, like I said, it's very attainable. It's meant to be very entry level. Anyone can do it. And I think we want to be able to just get people to take this pledge, to say, "Hey, I'm interested. I'm here." And this is just phase one. There's different phases to this pledge, and this is just to get people involved, to bring people together, and participate in everyday civic actions. And the actual initiatives, like you said, some of them are identify your local and federal leaders, but also, say hello to a new neighbor, go to a small business, go try a small business, go to a local park. Those are all part of, being civically engaged. As the winter is coming right now, snow is going to come. Are you checking in on your neighbors? Are you checking on your elderly neighbor to say, "Hey, do you need help shoveling?" That's being civically engaged. That's building community. And we want to definitely make sure that people know that that's being civically engaged goes way beyond just voting and doing jury duty.
It is so much more. And Henry, it's interesting because I mentioned to you when we were talking before the show, there's something that I've been mentioning to the community that a few community folks and a couple of chiefs and directors they're involved with, and the timing of this and whatnot, and the model of it just ties in so well. So I definitely view this as like an affirmation in what we're thinking. But one of the things that we've talked about often is the village. civic power pledge, the Office of Civic Organizing is wonderful, but I believe both of you in our backgrounds are familiar with the term the village. And the things that you're talking about are our neighbor things that we were raised with that are just to be neighborly. So one, I want to name, it's interesting. I probably got just a couple of years over you. And some of us old heads often make a generalization, that we were the last generation that were raised with manners and da 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 da. And it's so often, if you don't mind, they say you don't ask women, so I can ask a brother. How old are you, sir?
I'm 27.
27. So I'm very proud of you, sir, because I wasn't at 27. No, I don't think I was a director. And so one, proud of you, black man, Afro Latino man, for being in that position. But a lot of what's being named here is village. And so how much influence do you think this has on other issues? We don't know each other that well, but I'm sure you observed that I move in a space of like violence prevention and things have been very interesting. How much of an influence does bringing the village together or taking the power pledge, how much of an influence does that have on, quality of life issues?
No, it's very, very, very correlated, right?
Yep.
I think, like I said, we're trying to build civic leaders within neighborhoods. As neighborhoods, have more civic leaders, that builds civic power and that builds neighborhood voice. So when, right now crime here in Boston is very high. And although conversations won't necessarily stop it all, right? Building awareness, making sure that people are coming together and, talking about, how is it affecting them day to day? How is it affecting them, their livelihood and, protecting, our kids. That actually, those conversations, carry a lot of weight. And I think builds a sense of like, a sense of community, a sense of village, like you said, that will bring people together and allow people to, to heal in these places, but also, be educated in these spaces. And, that's really important. Like I said, this is a very basic checklist of initiatives, but it's meant to do a lot more. It's meant to just be the initial start to come in and hopefully build up to many different neighborhood spaces. I mean, even like with a small business, right? It's like hosting a community night. One of their initiatives is hosting a community night in your small business. Like that's very important to be able to, bring people from I'm going to refer back to Mission Hill because, that's where I'm from. But like even there, right? I grew up in Alice Taylor, there's Mission Main and then there's top of the hill. And historically, we all haven't talked to each other, right? Like, and even the organizations when they're don't always talk to each other. And it's something that we've, I think everyone's bought in recently, and we're having those conversations, and we're seeing results of that, right? Of what that means to to your city councilors, what that means to to the mayor's administration, and build a village, building community.
I'm very excited for a few reasons. As I said before, this ties in so much with today's Wednesday. Hopefully Friday, Monday, we'll be getting an email out to Chief Pierre and a couple of other people. And I'm going to be sure to CC you on this because I think this really, a part of this definitely lands in your shop. But it's just refreshing to hear and view the intentionality of it. And then to hear from you. We've talked, we've seen each other, but this is the most time I've got to really talk with you and know you, and to know you're at the helm of something like this, to hear your past, your background, and your passion. It is definitely dope. And I mean, it's okay that, you come from Mission. No, I'm messing, but Mission is lit. And I'm just going to leave that there. We found out last Saturday that Mission Hill is kind of lit. When we arrived at Mission Hill,
we had a very successful trolley tour. Let's say that.
That's a nice way to frame it. We'll just say our mayor was very popular when we landed over in Mission Hill. But Henry, thank you so much for taking the time to come today. and share with us. This platform is, Chief Millar knows, it's available to you when it's getting information out to our community to get them engaged. One of the things, folks, I want to remind you, and it's pinned in the comments, please be sure to go and take this specific, and y'all know I use the JWJ so y'all can remember it, and it's easy. It's hyperlinked in the comments, but if you want to take a screenshot of this, or just remember jwj.info/CPP, that's a quick way to get to the link. This link here is specifically, let me bring this up. The link, short link I did on Bitly is to actually sign up. To hear from Director Santana today and everything like that is wonderful, but consider going and taking the pledge. It is in various languages. I can't proceed in it unless I fill it out right now. And I'll be taking the pledge as well, but y'all know this is what we do. So is there anything, Henry, that we forgot? Anything you want to mention before we get ready to go?
I just want to thank you, Jimmy, and just want to definitely plug in that next Wednesday, December 14th, from 6 to 7, there will be a virtual informational session for people, who want to just learn more. It's going to be interactive. You can ask questions, Q&A. But and just want to thank you, again for the platform that you created for us, and for having me on today. It's a real honor.
Absolutely. One quick question. The information for the meeting next Wednesday, is that going to be put on the website, or is it already on there? Do folks need to sign up for that, or do they take the pledge and then they'll follow what will happen after they take the pledge?
You do not need to take the pledge to come to this information. It is on the website. It's under informational session. You can RSVP for the event. I think if you scroll down.
Yep. Informational session right here.
Yep.
Awesome. Take me to a different link. Hold on. It did it. Okay. We're here. All right. So this is where you can go. Hold on. Y'all know we do this stuff right here in real time. I'm going to put it right in the comments. It's not a short link, but this will be hyperlinked in the comments here for you to sign up to take the pledge. So there's two things that you can walk away. We always talk about action items. First thing to do, take the pledge here. All right. Take the pledge here, sign up here. But if you want more information before you take it, go here and sign up for the informational session, and they'll send you information about it and the links, and you'll be good from there. Henry, I really appreciate you, man. I'm so honored to see you in this position and doing this. I knew you was a good brother because I walked up. I was hospitable, but I was like, you doing it. Yeah, we need to get you in the Java Cafe. And then over the past few months, whatever, seeing you in community, got to hang out on Saturday as well. Definitely appreciate it. And we share a common friend, our good brother. And if he's watching and we don't say his name, Brother Walk, he's done some video stuff here for us. So Henry, I appreciate you, sir. This platform is available. Keep us abreast of what's going on. And I am so happy that you're in this spot.
Hey, thank you, Jimmy, so much. The honor is mine. Thank you very much. And we'll talk soon for sure.
All right. Absolutely, brother.
Thank you.
Everyone, that was our good director, Santana, from the mayor's office of civic organizing. And so kind of dope. I'll be very honest. Chief Millar had mentioned something was coming. I talked to Henry on Saturday on the trolley tour. And when I got the link yesterday, I'm like, for those of you that are around with me years ago, we talked about the Citizens Campaign, and this is very similar to that. So, and this falls right in line with what I've been mentioning here and there over the past few weeks. So I can't wait to tell the folks we've been meeting with that this is something that we can definitely tie in, and it's a vehicle to build that sustainable approach to building community, and which has a huge influence on addressing root causes of violence. So let's go in real quick. It's only 9:32. I'll spare a few more minutes to see who's in the Java Cafe this morning. Nikki, my sister, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Pastor Marion, great Wednesday morning to you as well. Sharon Cornelius. And I'm saying it with a little extra energy this morning because I got to hug Sharon last night. And let me say this, and I think she knows it, but I need other folks to know. I tease Sharon often because Sharon's one of our Mother's Board members, and is a wonderful sister. And her fashion, she's just a diva. But I call her the church mother. And so if you're familiar with the church mother, you know, church mothers tend not to be quote unquote fashion divas, but Sharon is a mother and a fashion diva. And so Sharon, I know, you know, but a couple of folks like side-eyed me last night when I was like, look at this. We were talking about Sharon's wonderful fishnets. Love you, Sharon. Mama Java, good morning. Good to see you in the room. I think I saw Auntie Java as well. There she is, Auntie Java. Good to see you in the room. Sister Debbie, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. I think I got Lasagna, good morning to you. Good to see you. Dr. Drumright, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Tamisha, my sister, good morning. Leslie, good morning to you as well. Lasagna, good morning. Miss Teresa, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Stan. Good morning, brother. Good to see you in the room. I know I fell off the other day. Text me and let me know today. I'll text you. Who else? I think I got everybody. Tasha, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Next Sunday, not the 11th, next Sunday, the 18th, Tasha is having the community healing service at St. John Baptist Church for the survivors of survivors and victims homicide awareness month. Tasha, please make sure I get that right in the comments. Miss Teresa is saying, I remember the old Family Circle newspaper comic when I was a kid. Yep, I'm that old. They had a campaign where the little girl walked around saying, civic pride, we help beautify our city. The village is coming back. Pastor Marion, village back in the day, community with an emphasis on unity. Stan, high schools should bring back the SGA student facts. The YMCA does it with their young people, but and I think high schools still have like class presidents and stuff, but yeah, there's a lot of intentionality there, Stan. Sharon is saying, hey, now I used to live in Mission Hill Bricks, Ruggles Side Street. All right. Kiki, good morning. Good to see you. And Kiki got some hidden talent, y'all. And I'm just going to leave that right there. Kiki, good to see you in the room. All right, folks, we're going to get ready to wrap up. Today is Wednesday. We'll be with you tomorrow for Thankful Thursdays. I mentioned to you all that there was a young man who was a law enforcement officer that was going to come in and share with us about what it is that they do in getting Black and brown people ready to take the police exam, going over some physicality stuff. He needs to reschedule. I believe he said he could do next week. And so hopefully we'll have that next week. Speaking of next week, please keep in mind this Monday, did Dr. Brandy say she's coming this Monday? I got to check with her. But this Monday, Mental Health Mondays. On Tuesday, the 13th, you all remember a few months ago, there was a lot of conversation about Boston Carnival. Whole lot of conversation. I had Ms. Shillingford and Kenya Beeman on. They mentioned, and I gave them a date of November 1st. Hey, can we check back? Well, they gave me a date that they would have the application out by November 1st. About a month or so ago, they followed up and reached out and said, hey, a little bit of a delay in getting some things together. And then I wound up speaking with them yesterday. The application is dropping. I don't think it dropped yesterday. So the application is dropping today. If you were interested in being part of the Boston Carnival Association, but the Caribbean American, because Miss Shillingford got me together last night. And if you know her, she named the proper name. But the application will be dropping very soon. I'm mentioning that because they are coming back into the Java Cafe on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. to talk about the 50th anniversary coming up, to talk about the application process, deadlines, and things like that. So please spread the word that on Tuesday, the 13th, we will have Miss Shillingford from the Carnival Association. And then on the 14th, who did I just book for the 14th? Oh, Mass Health Connector. We have Your Healthy Java often, and one of the issues that we often have with people getting healthcare is insurance. And so Mass Health Connector is coming on Wednesday to have a conversation about signing up. If you sign up by December 23rd, you will be eligible for insurance by January 1st. And so they're coming up. This is sort of their open season. They have, anyway, they'll come and explain that. So that's going to be on Wednesday. And I'm not sure what's going on the 15th. All right. That's it for me this morning. Everybody have a wonderful Wednesday. Hopefully this information shared by Director Santana was helpful for you. Sign up to get information. I'm sure this list will be used in, God forbid, in case of emergencies, announcements about hearings, different things like that. Sign up, because one of the things that we often hear in the community is we were not aware. We didn't know. And as much as I and others try to get information out as much as possible, we don't reach everybody. And so signing up for things like this, coming into the Java Cafe, going to community meetings, being involved, reading the paper, keeps you up to date and informed. All right. That's it for me today. Leslie, we do see these blessings overflowing. We receive them in Jesus' name. Did I say Mass Health Connector? That's what it is, the Mass Health Connector. Not Mass Health, the insurance, even though some people that apply might get Mass Health. The Mass Health Connector is the entity that you work with, and they tell you about the insurance. And come into the room next Wednesday, the 14th, and get more information. All right, folks, thank you so much. And we will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. here in the Java Cafe. Have a blessed day, everybody. Peace.